Let's have a show of hands. Who's familiar with a Ranger? Okay, so we got a few folks. So if you've heard rumors about the Rangers, you might have heard they have to scale cliffs with people shooting at them. They get to do fun things like jump at midnight with enemy fire, and then when they land on the ground, they hump 8 or 10 miles, only to reach the objective, which is then to bring hell onto the enemy. All as a team, we operate in 10-man squads, a 40-man platoon, and I was lucky enough to command one of those in Desert Storm. So I don't know that much about wrestling, but I do know a little bit about getting ready for battle and preparing yourself for success in life. So what I really think is that there's this continuum for the non-math majors. That's just a long line that starts at point A and goes to point B. And what marks that line and how well you're going to do is the success you're going to have. So you can point at any spot, just stop there and run it, stop there, and you're successful at what you're doing. And if you do that, you're building a great story. Okay, right now, you are collegiate athletes at one of the most rigorous programs in the United States. For any of those who have heard of Clint Eastwood, he made a movie called The Unforgiven, where he says at the very end, deserve's got nothing to do with it. Means life ain't fair. And so life is going to pile all these obstacles on you and a pressure to do well. Obstacle 1. Obstacle 2, you're a varsity athlete. So on top of everything else that the people in your dorm aren't doing, you have to show up for practices. You have to cut weight. You have to do all those things that varsity athletes have to do. How about obstacle 2.5? You're wrestling in a D1 program at a D3 school with everything that goes along with that, right? It's going to judge you on how you handle those things. But your story is building. And so just a few years from now, you're going to be sitting in an interview, one of those interview questions, and you then tell them your story of success. So way at the end, in about 40 minutes from now when we're done, the key to today is tell people about your successes. Tell them about your successes. If you don't tell people about your success, chances are not that many other people will. Maybe no one will. What you're doing is you're sharing with people your success so that maybe it helps them too. And you're building a heck of a story. A heck of a story. Tell me about yourself. Well, I got great grades in high school, good enough to get into Franklin and Marshall, and I wrestled enough to walk on or be accepted onto a D1 team. Oh, I thought that was D3. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it's a Division III school, so we don't have the scholarships and the recruiting, but that was a tremendous challenge I faced, and I did it for 4 years. Okay, right. But what a story you're building. And what I found out now at the age of 50 is that life full of good stories builds who you are and builds a track record of success. If you just hit the pause button for a moment on what you're doing today and you're successful at it, you're going to be able to tell that story. It's part of your story of 20 years from now. So that might be getting an A in biology. It might be staying healthy and winning the match this weekend. And goals are key. It's big S, little A's, big S. Software as a service. I only mention this to you because that's a term you'll hear. Because people your age, which I'm saying millennials, is that right? Are college kids millennials?
I think we're like right at the line.
You're right, yeah, don't like.
Like some of us are considered millennials and some of us are, what's that one after?
Generation what? Z, okay. I think it's fair to say that Generation Z is not that interested in owning things. I don't have to own it. When you're playing Fortnite or whatever, and I hope you're not, because I don't believe in video games. I think they're a waste of life. Now let's say I just hope Steven's not playing. I'm still running now over the age of 50. And one of those goals that I set when I was just 49, heading to my birthday, my buddy's doing a shoulder press, and he says, "You got any goals like after you hit 50?" I said, "Yeah, Chris." I said, "I want to be the most fit 50-year-old in the United States." And he said, "Oh, cool, dude." And he said, "Wait, what?" And again, he put the weight down. What did you say? I said, "Yeah, be the most fit 50-year-old in the U.S." He said, "Well, how would you even do that?" When people ask that question, guess what? You got them thinking. You got them thinking now. They're thinking along your lines now. Like, Wow, and they're already starting to project, Patty, he might be the top guy. He might be the most fit guy. Now, of course, it helps to have an answer. So he said, how would you even do that? I said, well, first thing we do is we'll pick a sport, kind of like wrestling. I mean, of course, you already a wrestler and figure out what weight's best. In my case, in track, what event is key, right? Because you have a 100-meter dash and you have a marathon, okay? And that's 40,000 meters. So somewhere between 100 meters and 40,000 is your sweet spot. And everybody's got to know themselves, like Lao Tzu said 3,000 years ago, know thyself. And I know that I am still pretty good at half mile, 800 meters. That's my event. I started competing in USA Masters. You guys familiar with Masters? That means old. Masters track and field. I jumped in seriously heavy with good training. I cracked the top 20 list, and then I cracked the top 10 within the first year. And then I came back the next one, and it got around the top 5. And then I was holding the number 2 spot in 2016, and I had a good race with really good competition, electronically timed, boom, under the lights, ready to go. So I'm in this race. The funny thing is that I thought to myself, I'm training hard for it. I had this little ding in the back, and every once in a while it would come and get me. And I thought, man, I might not be able to run the perfect race. Doubt. I might not be able to have that kick at the end, which is my trademark. Doubt. I'm thinking, oh man, it's there. Will it come out? And then I even had enough doubt to ask my good friend, my buddy, my coach, at the same time, they're the same guy, Coach K, like, man, I'm not really sure. Maybe I shouldn't even run this race because I don't think I'm going to be able to have that, have that perfect race if one's even needed. And he said, listen, I've heard you say this before, but who cares? Just relax with it, okay? You don't have to run the perfect race. You don't have to have the perfect kick. You just get out and just be confident in your mind. Boom, I take off. Came around the first lap in 64. I'm in good shape here. I'm in really good shape. I had already run 2:16. I got it down to 2:13. The best time in the country was 2:12. So I was only about a second and a half off. That's a big deal, right? When you're trying to run at max speed. But I came through that race and in 2:11.89, and at that moment, I had the number 1 spot in the U.S. And I held that spot gloriously for a month in 2016. And then some guy from Ohio knocked me off. Anybody from Ohio here? Okay, one of your statesmen knocked me off. But I had that spot. And the point is, you make a goal that sounds ridiculous, outrageous. Win the NCAAs, go to Ranger School, run for office, be a millionaire. How about just win 10 matches? How about just stay healthy? Set that goal. And then you put it out there. And once it's out there and I say it, then it's living, it's existing. If I say a goal right now that I have, you all heard it. And then a year from now, you should ask me, hey, did you hit that goal? You absolutely should. And if you don't, then you're letting the guy off the hook. And so teammates hold each other accountable. So that's just a couple of thoughts. So let me turn it back to Coach. Hey, Coach, thanks for having me here.